Again, I'm a voyeur, so I love it. I'll watch it. I don't.
It was
Yeah,
definitely.
side shows that would come in and stuff. Do you still do those?
Or yeah. Like this?
Oh, and the butterflies, before you get on, you're waiting in line.
Certified freak, 7 days a week. That word is pussy good. My pull-out game weak. Ooh.
What's up, body shoppers? Joe Sabino here with
Marilu here as well.
and Cliff
Hubbard.
Cliff Hubbard. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic. How about yourself?
We're doing pretty good. We're pretty excited to have you on. We've Cliff is one of our. Actually, I'm going to back up for a second. So when we posted this video earlier today, a copy of it gets posted in our staff group on Facebook, and one of our staff posted a message and said, "What the hell's a super fan?" I said. So I responded, I said, "You know what, Harry?" I said, "You're a super fan." He goes, "No, seriously." He goes, "What does that mean? What is a super fan?" And I said, "Well, basically a super fan would be somebody who interacts, watches our videos and interacts quite a bit with us, when we go live." I said, "So, Cliff's been pretty much a regular on our live streams, commenting and stuff and participating in the show that way. So you are officially a super fan, Cliff."
Well, I appreciate it. Put on great shows, so
You what?
you all put on great shows, so it's always fun to watch the lives.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So that actually is going to bring me to my first question for you. How did you stumble upon the Body Shop and the live stream or watching the shows?
So when I first moved to Pittsburgh, I went to a lot of clubs. So I was doing a lot of Googling, gotta love Google, and I came across the Body Shop. And I've had a little bit of experience in like the BDS lifestyle. And when I found out there was one in Pittsburgh, I was very excited to be able to experience the Body Shop firsthand.
Okay. So you said you were excited. In what way?
So where I'm from, we have a population of about 5,000 people. The closest even bar to us growing up was about an hour and a half. So I've read about these types of clubs, environments, communities, but not really got to experience it firsthand other than on a personal, intimate level. So I wanted to definitely see how it was in person at this type of an event.
Okay. Do you mind if we ask where you're from originally?
So I am from a very small town, Big Stone Gap, Virginia. It's a coal mining town. So everyone assumes Virginia means DC. So I'm on the exact opposite side, right next to Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina borders.
Okay. All right. How long did you live there? Were you there? Did you live there your whole life, or
My whole life.
until how long? How long have you been in Pittsburgh then?
It was 3 years in September.
Oh wow! So you're still kind of a newbie.
I am. Wet behind the ears.
Gotcha. Now, how close to? I'm assuming Pittsburgh. You're in Pittsburgh, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, like, are you in the city, or are you just outside? Are you more of the?
I'm about 15 minutes from downtown, so not too far from pretty much everything.
Okay. Well, you're pretty close then. You're basically in the city then, for the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
For all intents and purposes. So what exactly brought you to Pittsburgh?
I was originally a houseboy. I had actually the opportunity to live in Long Beach, California, taking care of a house there, or move here. So I did enjoy the people here, other than the cold. So I decided to actually come here instead.
Okay, so I know everybody else is thinking the same thing. What is a houseboy?
Well, it depends on your definition.
What is your definition?
So I got into houseboys originally because I have a lot of experience with management, hotels, restaurants, managing restaurants, basically the service industry. So I wanted to put that to use as a way to travel, see the world, but also get paid for it and have a little bit of fun as I went along.
Okay. So, what does a houseboy do?
It depends on your
home.
So it depends on your employer. So it could be taking care of the house, cleaning the house, basically a live-in housekeeper, chef, helping them with their personal businesses if that's the case, or whatever they need you for. It's defining those boundaries though when you first talk to whoever the prospect is.
Marilu, what do you think about that? Do you think you want a houseboy?
I've always said we needed a houseboy. Or a house person,
Oh, well, I'm down for a house person, houseboy, house girl. I don't care. I'm an equal opportunity house person.
Well, if you need anyone trained.
Yes, yes. I want to take a pause here for a second, and we've got some people that are watching and commenting already. So we got Marky Ann, who's commented. This is their first time watching live. They said hi. We've got Bob Entity Butane. That's an interesting name. Hello, Bob. Justin Malloy, love this place. We love you too. Thank you. And the one on we got Periscope finally. Somebody back on Periscope watching. So hello, the one. And then Quinn, who I spoke to for 2 hours this afternoon, is watching also. So hey, Quinn, how you doing? And Donald Watson, I would say Donald is pretty close to a super fan, if not a super fan already. So they're all watching and commenting. So Bob says, let's put this up real quick. Would like to talk about joining the body shop, of course. So let me get rid of that. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's actually one more person that's actually online. There's a staff member who just texted me a picture of them in their bathtub, just letting us know that they're at home watching, since they missed out on the last conversation about Chatterbait.
Oh, is that Rebecca?
Yes.
So as you know, Cliff, we did a chat last Thursday, about Chatterbait, which is kind of how we came to getting you on here, because I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because I'm already super intrigued by Houseboy. We were talking off camera about some of the other things you've done, but we're going to talk about that on camera too. So we got Houseboy. Basically, what it sounds like. Well, is that the official title? Is that what you officially call it?
It is. So the actual website that I had my profile on was houseboys.com, and you can find them all across the country.
Marilu's.
Yeah, I'm always taking notes, because you never know.
Yeah, Cliff, I think at about 10 o'clock tonight, Marilu's going to be like, yeah, I think I found one. Okay. So you're originally from Western Virginia. I almost said West. I was going to say like Western Pennsylvania, Western Virginia. You're not from West Virginia.
Correct. Southwestern Virginia.
Gotcha. So you said you're closer to Tennessee. Is that correct? That's where you were originally?
I'm originally about 45 minutes outside of Tennessee.
Okay. All right. Cool. Actually, I've got friends of ours that are they're actually originally from Cleveland, moved to Nashville, then moved to Indianapolis, and now they're getting ready to move back to Nashville because they said they just fell in love with Nashville. Have you been?
I've been through it when I lived in Colorado for about 3 months, working at a hotel there, and I got to drive through, but I didn't get to really see a whole lot. I think it's the Parthenon that's there. I think that's what it's called. So
Okay.
Yep.
Just a little sightseeing on the way through.
Gotcha. So you lived in Colorado. Whereabouts in Colorado?
Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs. I hear that's beautiful.
Amazing. If you ever get the chance, Garden of the Gods.
Really? We've been to Denver, and I thought just sitting on the edge of the mountains like that was just, wow, blew me away. Totally blew me away. But
well, you spent that one afternoon with the prairie dogs.
Yeah, Marilu. I flew with Marilu to. She had a meeting in Denver, and the meeting was supposed to be like all day, like 6 or 8 hours. So we got there, and I got in a rental car. So I'm literally just driving around. Now I didn't go into Denver, but I was kind of driving around the outskirts of Denver, and happened upon this little park. So I pull over, and I'm kind of putzing around or whatever, and I hear these little barks, these little, I don't know what that turns out they're prairie dogs. They were just all over the place, but they would pop out of their holes as I'm walking by and looking at me, and they're barking at me, or probably barking to warn the other prairie dogs. Like there's this big 6'4", 285 pound guy walking around looking to eat something. So, but yeah, Denver was nice. I really liked it.
Cool.
So go ahead.
No, I was going to say let's get to all of the good nitty gritty stuff, because it seems like you got to talk to Cliff a little bit during the day while I was out and about. So do tell what gives. What's we're hearing the stories about the houseboy thing, and I know that you dance every once in a while, as a side gig. So, and there's Chatterbait.
Oh, all the stories of Cliff. So BC before COVID, I do have my regular 9 to 5, but not 9 to 5. But I did dance on the weekends at the Real Luck Cafe.
Where is that? What is it called?
AKA the Real Luck Cafe in the Strip District. So starting at 10 o'clock, their upstairs is open, and it is usually between 4 to 6 fully nude guys dancing on the bar, and not like going to cheerleaders where they're a good 10 15 feet in your face the whole night. So really enjoyed that, though. It was a great experience, and actually miss doing that on the weekends.
Do you miss doing it, or do you miss the money?
So I really didn't do it for the money. It was more or less a way to help build my confidence and body positivity and self-love, and to get comfortable in my own skin, to push that boundary, which is kind of like with BDSM, or is finding those ways to safely push your own envelope. So, and once I did it, I loved it. Plus, it's a 4-hour workout.
I would imagine, yeah. Basically, obviously you get breaks, no?
We get 1 break an hour, so we are literally dancing for 45 minutes straight, twerking and helicopters. And
I am so jealous of guys that can do fucking helicopters. Like, the closest I get to a helicopter are the little whirly-bird things that fall off of a tree. That's about what my helicopter would look like. And actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because this is going to sound stupid. I was watching a chatterbait right, shortly before we came on here. I was actually doing some research or whatever, and some guy's on there, and he starts fucking helicoptering his dick. I'm like, you motherfucker. Helicoptering his dick.
Oh, look at
What?
your comments.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, I got, ooh, Jesus. We got all kinds of stuff going on here. Wow. Love the backstory. How about a girl who can do a helicopter? That would be very interesting to see.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, that's Quinn put that up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good little picture of Quinn too.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good picture on your profile there for YouTube. So Quinn actually is somebody who worked with us at the club for a while. BC, I like that, before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But Quinn has not been back yet, but we talked about the potential of Quinn coming back, so we would be excited to have them back on staff. Okay, so do you still do the dancing then, or not really?
Not at the moment, because they are shut down, the top level for the dancing. Right when we first got into lockdown and we started coming into the phases, or coming out of the phases, I should say, they did allow us to be in one spot, but away from everybody. So it really just gave the experience.
Uh-oh, we're losing Cliff a little bit.
Oh no, Cliff!
Come back, Cliff. Come back.
No.
Hold your phone up high. We need better signal. Oh no. All right, so we're gonna wait for Cliff to pop back in here. I think he's having some connectivity issues. So
Getting to know each other.
Oh, we're getting you back. We lost you for about 20 seconds there.
All right. So with Lucky's, it's probably one of the oldest clubs, the gay bars in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So they have a lot of regulars that have been coming for like years and years and years. So you just get to know a lot of your regulars that come in every weekend.
Now, did you dance in Virginia also?
So Lucky's is actually one of the only places I've ever found with full nude male dancers. I've been to Vegas, I've been to California, Tennessee, Florida. The only other place I've ever heard.
We're having technical difficulty.
Richards in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. So
the last thing we heard was you said the only other place you've been to, and then it cut out.
So the only other bar that I've heard that has the full male nude dancers is Swinging Richards in Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, okay. That's a nice little play on words, Swinging Richards. I like that.
Swing from the vines.
Right. I think Marilu's writing all this stuff down.
I am.
She's going to be looking all this stuff up when we're done here. She's like, housepoise.com, Swinging Richards. I know where we're going.
Or at least where I'm going.
I'll drive you. I'll be driving Miss Marilu.
There you go.
So you dance. What else have you done, or what do you do for extracurricular fun?
That's pretty much it. I mean, other than just vanilla life, a huge outdoors fan. So anything to do, swimming, hiking, horseback. I'm just grew up in the country, so I've been raised in the outdoors. Ex-preacher, to add that onto my resume.
Ex-preacher?
Ex-preacher. They always warn you about the preacher's daughter or the preacher's son, but
Well, both Marilu and I were raised Catholic, and I think, pretty much everybody I went to school with was pretty much a freak. So there's something about those, like when you get into that really deep, it becomes very repressive, and you kind of like push back and you go complete. Obviously, I went the complete opposite way. I went from being an altar boy to owning a swing club.
Okay.
I think it kind of goes back to the conversation with like the men being submissive, release that excess or release the control. So I think people that are more
Right.
suppressed like that either allow to continue to suppress them or they go the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely went the other way. What about you, Marilu? Do you feel like you've gone the other way?
I think I've just evolved into or morphed into what I was supposed to be.
What you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, I had too many experiences like way early on in my life to be like, okay, there was a reason for this, so this is where I'm at now. So yeah, I just feel like I've evolved. I've morphed into, I've cocooned and become the butterfly.
A beautiful butterfly at that. I'm trying to get brownie points for later tonight.
Oh, okay.
When we did I think maybe 2 shows ago we were talking about Chatterbait, or was that last weekend? No, that was 2 shows ago we were talking about Chatterbait or webcamming, and to our surprise, that was something else you've done. Tell us about that and how you got into that. As soon as your phone comes back online. Cliff is frozen.
Well, he's in his car. It's cold out there.
You got Han Solo'd there for a second.
A way of looking to make more income, especially the area that I grew up in is very what's the word I'm looking for? So there's not a lot of great paying jobs there. It's mainly minimum wage jobs. So I had always heard stories of people making, thousands of dollars on Chatterbait. So that's how I first started dabbling into it.
Okay. Marilu's thinking about doing it too.
I told you what my idea was for Chatterbait, but everyone keeps saying, great, we're going to get to see you nude. I'm like, you can see me nude every once in a while at the club, maybe. If it's your lucky night. But
I get to see you nude almost every night.
You do.
Mm-hmm. Not almost every night. Every night.
Yeah. Except for when the cat blocks you.
Yeah.
And gets in between us.
Exactly. So you said you got into the webcamming, obviously to earn some extra money. How did that work out? Did you, number one, how long did you do it? Did you make good money doing it? Poor Cliff.
I know. I feel like he's just getting frozen.
You got soloed again.
There we go.
we may have to do. Hey, I'm gonna have you connect. Can you connect to a Wi-Fi? Because I think your signal's cutting in and out. Cliff. right, so we'll wait for Cliff to come back. So I did a lot of talking today with a few people about camming. Talked to Quinn. Quinn, we talked about camming today, and also Ashton Blake. I talked to her this afternoon, and I think both have indicated that they are looking to work with us on our Chatterbait, on the Body Shop Chatterbait. So if you are a Chatterbait fan, you can go to our page. It's chatterbait.com/thebodyshop. Cliff's sort of coming back. We're having trouble keeping Cliff connected. Sometimes our system's a little rough.
I think
there you go.
back.
We're getting you back a little bit, Cliff. Can you hear us okay? Cliff says he's going to go try to find some Wi-Fi.
Okay, so we're gonna Cliff's
I
out for a quick second here to try and get some little bit more Wi-Fi there. But no, I was actually I was actually excited when we watched when we actually went on Chatterbait last week and watched a few. We watched Jeff and we watched a few different cams, and I found it interesting. You know, I guess having never actually been on there, but having always seen them. Like when we go to Vegas for the AVNs and stuff, they always have the booth set up with the girls camming live and so forth from the AVNs. To actually sit down and, in my living room and watch it on the big screen and be like, oh, okay, this is interesting. It's not what you always think it is, or the assumption is it's like, oh, they're cam girls and they're naked all the time, and it's like, well, no, actually the girls we were watching were sitting there doing shots and conversing and just engaging with everyone, which the conversation was hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of interesting for me.
So I got a couple of comments here. We've got Tori Lynn commented that they were raised Catholic. If only my father knew about his daughters. Woo! That is a statement. That's probably true for a lot of parents. That's kind of interesting because I thought my mother would be really negative about, have negative feeling towards the fact of what I do for a living currently. And surprisingly, she's been super, super supportive. Both my parents, actually all my family, well, as far as I know anyway. Let's see. So there's a couple more comments. Laura says there is no other way. It's more of a very fluid change. I'm assuming that's going from being nice to naughty. And then we've got Kirk. Kirk says, I like how he says this. Kirk is a recovering Catholic living 30 minutes north of Pittsburgh, just started to open up. Best friend used to be in the lifestyle, and we just recently joined together. Very cool. Very cool. Now when Cliff comes back, I know he's not been to the club yet, but he did recently just join. So I thought that was pretty interesting. What do you think about this houseboy business? That's kind of interesting.
Well, it's kind of it is interesting because we've actually had dialogue about having someone who's kind of like, a personal assistant that takes care of everything for us because, we're running the business or we're doing, stuff. constantly running here or running there, so that it would be nice to have a house person that kind of takes care of all of that. And then we kind of did have a little bit of conversation about, other boundaries or non-boundaries as it might have been with a house person. So
What does that mean?
if their job duties or their duties would detail any naughty behavior.
Oh. Well, I think that should just be a part of the gig. I mean, I would assume, just kind of loosely going off of what Cliff was saying, that being a houseboy sort of would fit that. All right, so I think we've got Cliff back. It looks like he's got good signal. Cliff!
Yay!
Oh.
He's driving.
Are you driving? Cliff, can you hear us?
I think he's driving.
Can you hear us, Cliff? Ah, there you go. Yeah, you got Cliff back. So Laura says that she could use a few extra husbands.
Yeah.
Now, we were just while you were off screen, we were talking about the houseboy thing. Is that something that a regular husband wife could? I mean, is it primarily only for gay people, or is the houseboy thing? Is that for anybody? I mean, can anybody do that or be involved with it? I guess. No.
Did we lose him again?
Cliff, I don't know if you heard the last question. Cliff, can you hear us? Cliff!
I'm currently on the houseboy website, houseboy.com, and I have to say that there's quite a few prospects.
Really? For us?
Just scrolling here. It's like, whoa, maybe.
Yeah, let's try this one more time. Cliff, can you hear us? All right, so we're gonna take Cliff lost his sound, so sorry, I'm sending him a message. So so hopefully we'll get Cliff back. I see him popping back in here, but he looks like he's got the signal's really, really low on his connection. So
it's all those hills here.
What?
It's all the hills and mountains and
yeah, it's really tough. Tough running around. With cell phones, especially in this area in Pittsburgh and stuff. So I get it. But all right, so you're looking on the houseboy website, and you think you may have found some prospects?
Well, I mean, there's quite a few interesting picks, to say the least. There are there's some because when you look at the app, it'll show you the picture, and then it'll define, are they a house boy or are they the person that would be the employer?
Oh.
So you can look at both sides of the profile, so when you first log in, it gives you, who are gold members, who are verified profiles
Okay.
and who are the most viewed houseboys today. It's like the
Oh.
top 10.
Hmm.
And who are the top 10 employers? And there's out of the 10, there's 4 that are like definite thumbs up.
For you. Thumbs up for you?
If I were to become a house person, sure.
Oh, you mean for you to become a house person?
Yeah,
Oh, so almost like a sugar daddy type thing.
something, I guess. But yeah, the pictures are right. Wow, awesome there. You know, interesting.
So Jason asked if we'd ever been to the AVNs.
Yes, we have been twice in the last 4 years.
It's been a little bit longer than that. We have not been since we've opened up the club. So
Has it been that long? For here? Yeah. So yeah, 4 years.
yeah,
We got busy.
AVNs were kind of cool.
Mhm.
It was interesting. You know, it's when you mentioned about the cams. You know, I've literally up until the last month, I personally have never gone on a cam site. And I thought it was super interesting, all the different camming outfits that were at the AVNs, you know, camming. Like I thought it was so bizarre when we were there that they were camming from the AVNs, and I was like, well, I mean, because the story in my head for camming is you're just on there having sex, you're, you know, diddling yourself or jerking off or whatever. So it was weird for me to see people like just, you know, fully clothed, or, well, let me rephrase that, scantily clad, but with clothes on, not naked, camming directly from the AVNs. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yep. Gives you, like I said, it's a different perspective. Like you noted, you had your interpretation of what it is to go on a camming site, and that's all you see 24/7. But even like I said, when we were on the other day, just kind of checking out some of the other cam people that we know, like, no, that's not the case, you know.
No, that was super interesting to see that it wasn't all just about having sex.
And you know, sometimes it's just about the interaction. You know, I think it's for some people, you know, they might look at the person that's camming almost as being an equivalent of like someone that's on TV, you know, locally maybe. And, you know, for them, it's exciting when that person says, hey, you know, user 1234, it's great to see you again. Thanks for being here. You know, and they're like, wow, I got called out. Oh, they remember me, you know, and stuff like that. You know, the interaction. Just like think about, you know, when you have a meet and greet, you know, people just want to have that interaction and have that, what to them is that one-on-one, you know, conversation.
Right.
That's, you know, with someone that's of the same mindset and open-minded, and, you know, hello, they're camming, you know. And
So
who knows,
Laura,
someone might tip them enough that they'll be naked, you know.
right. Laura just commented. She says, now I'm curious about househusbands.com. And she says, I'll be right back. So she must have found another site similar, househusbands.com.
That would be interesting.
Yes. Yeah. I have a feeling you and I are going to be on the computer after we're done with this, looking at houseboys and house husbands.
Okay.
No?
You think so? So on Thursday, like we had our usual talk on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we actually did a talk about Chatterbait itself and us branding our studio on there. Did we get an actual few people that were interested? in signing on?
Yeah, I think I kind of screwed that up, and the reason is that there was a time change on the start, and we didn't have as many people jump in as as were signed up. But there were close to 40 people that were signed up to attend the meeting, virtual meeting, by the way, and about half that number ended up into the chat room. But I had changed the time earlier in the week from 8 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So I'm not certain that everybody, fully, either knew that or didn't fully understand that. Quinn and I were talking this afternoon, and, that was the case also, because Quinn was very interested in participating, but didn't come in until much, much later, and missed quite a bit of the talk. But that was the same for a few other people too that I know for a fact. But yeah, I mean, there was definitely some interest. So
that's good, because I know, like on Saturday we were moving monitors and TVs and things around, basically to get the setup going here in Pittsburgh for whoever wants to come in and use the club as their camming base. So it's kind of interesting to see all the gadgets that go into it, because I know you were looking at someone's site online about, you need to get this camera, you should have this or this, and this is how I do this, blah, 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 blah. And I was just kind of like, okay, you have the ones that like go overboard with their production per se, and then you have the ones that are like, all you need are 2 lights and blah, blah, and, one camera, GoPro that you can move around and you're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to learn about camming. It's the more I've researched it, the more I realize how little I actually knew about it and what really goes into it. And the number of people. Chatterbait apparently is the number one cam site, although there is a myriad of different cam sites. And I've seen some really cool setups. Speaking of that, I'm sorry, I keep going back to Quinn. Quinn's actually got a very, very cool setup for their studio, not only for yeah. So Quinn, Marilu's talking about Overboard. I'll put this up on the screen. Quinn says, "Overboard, guilty as charged." Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Quinn has a very, very nice setup, and I've done, in probably the fashion of a kindergartner, I've tried to mimic a little bit what Quinn has done in mine in your studio, and Quinn's been very kind to say that it looks nice, but nowhere near what Quinn's been able to do. So, but yeah, so Quinn sent some photos over last night that showed the other, what would be the cam studio, which is Quinn's bedroom. I hope I'm not putting out too much information, but yeah, I've seen some really, really cool and interesting cam studios. And by studio, I mean a room or whatever where they're camming out of. But on the opposite end, I've seen some really terrible setups. Like why would I don't care what the model looks like, why would you watch this, especially if it's like dirty or
Well, that's just like when you're taking a selfie or whatever. You always look to see what's actually behind you, because you never know when you take that selfie. And in this case, it's okay to have toys on the bed, but if you got dirty laundry on the floor,
yeah, that's not good. That's not good. So Chris is asking, are there any tips or tricks? Well, we've never actually cammed before, so I don't know how much of a tip or a trick I can give anybody. I can only tell you what we've heard, and probably the most important thing that we've heard is just being, Marilu loves this word, authentic. And just being yourself and just interacting with the people. It's not just about, flashing your boobs or pulling your dick out or whatever. There's seemingly a lot more to it, making a connection with the people that are on there. So, and especially if you're trying to monetize it, if you're doing like we're doing and just going live to go live, then you could just do that. But if you're trying to make money, there's probably some nuanced things that you need to delve into.
Yeah, there's definitely a science to it. And well, like Jeff had said last week, they had that fundraiser for a particular cam girl who had an issue for which
domestic
violence issue for which they weren't going to be able to work. So, the fact that they raised, what was it, like almost 10 grand?
Over $10,000, like 11,000 and some change. So the way Chatterbait works is with tokens, and each token is worth a nickel. So in I think it was 4 to 6 hours, I don't know the exact length of time, earned over $11,000 in nickels. I think that's, it's like 200,000. It was 225,000. That's what it was. Here, 225,000 times 0.05. Yeah. So yeah, 11,250. 11,250 is what they raised. So yeah, it was a fundraiser because she was a cam model, but she experienced a domestic violence issue. It was pretty beat up. So I mean, you can see black eyes and swollen face and stuff like that. And it happened the Friday before. So this was a week later, 8 days later. Yeah. And she was still pretty visibly beat up. So,
but it's interesting that between Jeff and his following and her own following, that they were able to get people to donate, and or in this case tip tokens to get to that monetary amount. It restores your thinking of humanity, right?
Your faith in humanity.
Yeah. Yes.
Excuse me. Well, the other thing that was kind of interesting, except I was messaging with Jeff the next day. They actually broke the coin counter.
Yes.
The tips were coming in so fast that the coin counter on their end broke. Now it was still tabulating in the background, obviously, but they said they were coming in so quickly that it actually broke their video tip counter. So that was kind of interesting. So Jason's asking, have we ever met Alexis Texas?
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
I don't exactly remember how it all came to be, but there is some video that we took of Alexis Texas in front of the Canton location.
You talk about that. I'm going to go away. I'm going to see if I can find the video.
Okay. So at the time, we had a sponsorship with Adult Mart, which is located in the front of the building for the Canton location. And Alexis Texas was going to be there signing autographs. So we went up just to double check and see what was going on. And I think G got video of her. She literally was out on the street corner, like waving people in to come see her. And then while we were inside the store, and she was doing the autographs and so forth, I'm not exactly sure what it was that the guy asked of her. But the thing was that she had said to him, well, that she would do it if he could do so many push-ups in front of her. And the guy was like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. And then she goes, with me sitting on you. And then everyone's just kind of like, oh, we got to see this, see if this guy could do this. And lo and behold, yes, he did. But it was the most hysterical thing because she was just rubbing herself all over him and trying to get him to not be able to do it. But she's a really, really sweet, sweet girl. We had a really good time just talking to her and getting to know her for that little bit that we did that afternoon. But yeah, I say she's a sweet little sweet girl, but God, she's hot. So I think G's still looking for the
She's got a booty, that's what I know.
Yes.
So I'm looking, but I can't seem to find it. I know we had pictures and video. Wonder if I have it saved somewhere else. I'll have to look. Yeah. Oh well. So yeah. So that was So Alexis, Texas. She was super nice, and she's got a booty. She does. I think that's big booty porn is sort of her genre. So. So Jason says I have to at Exotica. I'm just looking at some of the comments here. So Chris is saying I think the Bluetooth toys are a good trick. That's actually interesting. I'm glad Chris brought that up. So some of the cams I've come across, and I don't know how graphic I can get on these public video forums. Suffice to say, there was some sort of device inserted into the person, and part of it sticking out. And it looked like a tail, like it's probably about 6 inches long, the part that's sticking out. And I've been trying to figure out what it was. Well, earlier when I was, well, I mean, I knew it was something. I knew it was some sort of toy. I just didn't know like why is that person sitting there with this thing sticking out of their hoo-ha, what looks like a pink tail? So one of the people today had that inserted, but they also have a little link for what it was, and it's a remote toy, and somehow, don't ask me how, in the magic of the internet, when they tip a certain amount, it makes no, this was all through Chatterbait. So there's guys on there tipping on Chatterbait, and when they would hit a certain thing, it would raise the vibration level of this toy that's inserted. But it was all connected to somehow to Chatterbait and tipping. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know that there's a couple of girls that use a particular model that it's you can download the app on your cell phone, and then you can give and it changes like randomly. You can give whoever it is that tips the code, and they just put it in, and they can control it from their phone, from the app, and then they can just go right back in and changes it. So like the app does it all.
Right.
So
this particular setup was, I think, probably something built into Chatterbait or whatever. So I want to research that because that was pretty interesting. Not that I'm going to use it, but.
Why? You don't want to have a little pink or blue antenna sticking out of you?
Listen, for the right amount of money, yep.
Get your nickels together, people.
Well, it's funny because I was talking to Ashton Blake, and they were talking about camping, and she was sharing some of her more interesting stories. And I won't go into detail about what it specifically was because it was I wouldn't say it was out there, but it was interesting. But when this person first asked her to do it, she was like, no, I don't do that. And then he kept raising the amount of money that he would tip her in order to do it. Now, she didn't indicate what that amount was. Based on what the ask was, I'm going to say it was probably in the hundreds of dollars. for her to do it. But finally, he got to a number that she's like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And she did. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah, she shared a couple unique stories.
Okay. Well, the next time we have her on, we'll have to, have her elaborate on some of those again.
Yeah, if she wants to talk about it, that's great.
Yeah, if she wants to. She's always a good.
She's a sweetheart. Definitely very professional. If you have an opportunity and you're watching this, go to our YouTube channel, and it's actually, I think that's the first interview or live video that we did together, like that. So it's what, 2 hours? So over 2 hours, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Laura just says, Laura just comments, "Phew, I went down that rabbit hole." So we'll be interested to hear if Laura found a house husband. What was it? Was it called House Husbands? Househusbands.com. So post some pictures if you found some good ones, Laura. But yeah, so go back to YouTube. It's one of our first videos. The interview with Ashton Blake. She's a hoot. I really enjoyed talking to her. So
yeah.
But
we always say we're gonna do these like interviews, and I'm always like, it's just about an hour is a good amount of time, and then 2.5 hours later, or we've cut off recording and then we're still conversing, and then afterwards we're like, shit, we should have kept recording because that was just like so on.
I remember one of our couple interviews was like that. I think we did 2 hours of interview and we kind of cut it off, and then we did like another 2 hours of just sitting there talking, and I was so mad at the end of it, like because the second part of what we talked about was so, I would say, this is going to sound terrible the way I'm going to say it, was so much more interesting, but there was just so much more to it. It wasn't more interesting. There was just so much more to it that I wish we had recorded it because it was really, really good. So,
well, I think a lot of times when we start to interview somebody or a couple, they're still kind of like, just on guard about what they're saying or how they're, expressing themselves. And then, before you know it, that hour goes like that. And then all of a sudden they loosen up and you're like, okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, probably a few drinks helps with that too. Next time we maybe have a big bottle of wine out or a couple of bottles of wine and get everybody drunk.
No, we did that the one day. We had some drinks out, and remember you? I think you were kind of like, what are you doing? Because I like brought out this whole charcuterie board, so there's like cheese and crackers and olives and all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
We're having an interview, and I'm like, I'm having snacks. I don't know. I got my glass of wine. So do they.
Oh yeah.
Interview.
So Jason is asking if we are going to be at Exotica next year in Jersey.
I was actually supposed to go this year with Lanaya. We had talked about it, and then of course, BC.
BC,
yeah. Yeah, and then
Well, let's see what that is.
So we'll see about next year. I know that everyone keeps saying that I have a doppelganger in New Jersey at Exotica.
I think I remember somebody saying that. Let's see, Exotica Expo.
They were sending me pictures of someone's promo pictures on that they had on their banner, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, it looks just like you."
So Exotica Jersey is October 22nd and 24th of next year. That might be a rough one, just because that's backing up to our Halloween party.
Mm-hmm.
Now they do have one. They do have one in DC though, in June.
Yeah. Are they doing one in Miami this year?
Miami in February, actually Valentine's Day weekend, February 12th to the 14th. So they've got a pretty cool site. Now it's funny, they've got, speaking of cams, myfreecams.com, Chatterbait and Cam4, and Bad Dragon. I don't know what Bad Dragon is.
But yes, you do.
I do?
Actually, Ashton Blake last year brought us the Christmas tree with all the Bad Dragon.
Bad Dragon dildos.
Yeah.
I clicked the link. I was a little scared at first. I was afraid I was going to get like 9 gazillion pop-ups or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got some pretty wow. Oh, Alexis, Texas. So they got Alexis, Texas on here for Exotica. So maybe DC. I mean, because DC is a little closer to where we are. We could almost
But
even
New
drive
Jersey
there.
is the one that's always happening. Like that always has like the biggest, audience.
I would think Miami would, no?
Huh?
I would think Miami would, no?
You would think, but with New Jersey, you got
Oh,
PA,
hold on a second. I have a surprise.
you have the tri-state area.
He's back.
I'm back.
Yay!
You're back. All right, move over to your right about an inch and a half. That'd be other. There you go.
There you go.
Get you centered in there. Did you find some Wi-Fi?
I did. Well, actually, I went to a friend's house, so I'm using her laptop at the moment.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Well, now we get to ask all the questions that we wanted to ask. Now we get to hear the Chatterbait story.
Chatterbait. So, I don't know where I left off. So I originally got into it to just find extra cash just because of the area that I grew up. Very low income jobs. So I was looking to, make a little extra cash on the side. And I had heard a lot of people make, up to $1,000 a night, just having fun for other people's pleasure. So, but that's how I originally got into it. I really haven't been on it a whole lot, but that is something. It's just like with social media, social influencers. It's something that you've really just got to build up.
Did you have much success with it, or what do you think?
So, as a solo person, just doing it here and there, not so much. One thing I have realized is that with men, they tend to make more money if it's like a couple, us, 2 people, or.
Okay.
But women, even solo women, tend to make decent amount of money doing it on their own.
Okay. Now, is that something you could do like with your partner? Do you think that might work? With the same sex couple, and I mean male because on Chatterbait I saw 9 gazillion, lesbian couples on there.
So one of the first times that we did it as a couple, I finally talked him into doing it. I think we made $200 in like 2 or 3 hours. So it wasn't too bad.
No, that's actually pretty good.
So I know with women, and I have seen it with men as well, where they use like the love sense, where they can actually, it vibrates based off of their tokens that they do.
That's we were just talking about that. I didn't know what that was until today because I saw that thing sticking out of people. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like what? Like why? What is this? And they're just sitting there, like spread eagle, this pink thing hanging out of them.
The rat tail.
It wasn't until somebody had a picture of the actual the device, and then as they were on there, somebody like hit tipped enough money, and all of a sudden it said, "Oh, activated the whatever love sense." Is that what it was called?
I think it's love ins or love sense. It's
okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to look that up.
But that was my suggestion for like y'all's rooms. I know we had talked about that before, and Marilu was talking about you all streaming the Chatterbait, and you could invest in something like that to where occupants could buy the code and set it off remotely just to virtually engage and play.
So maybe the trick would be Marilu and I each have one in, and see which one, like have like almost like a race to see who comes first.
There you go. Or it could even work with edging.
Right. What do you think about that, Marilu?
I heard that. I don't know. I mean, I think I would. Wait a minute. Was the goal to see who would like orgasm first, or who
I
could?
guess. I don't know. What do you think, Cliff? How would that work?
I would say who actually has the most stamina. That would be the fun of it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking, and I'd win.
Oh, she's so confident.
Listen, I've never had one of those in my butt, and certainly not one vibrating. I'm fairly confident I'm going to outlast you in that.
So we could always add a little electro on the end of it.
Yes.
That sounds scary. Although I'm a half of an electrician, and I've been shocked quite a few times. So I don't know. I think I might fare well with that too.
I don't know.
What do you think? Like hooking electrodes up to the testicles or something? Is that what you had in mind?
No, one on each and one inside. Little magic wand.
Oh.
That's a circuit.
The violet wand. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, Laura, keep your violet wand to yourself. So Laura's one of our staff at Canton, if you didn't know that. She's a fun and interesting character, to say the least.
Yes. Definitely.
So yeah. But yeah, I'm really interested in doing this thing on Chatterbait. I actually have a couple of different channels or usernames that I set up. Obviously, one for the body shop, but I set up another one, and I called it. I called it Typical Swingers. And my thought with that is, we get all the time, new people when they talk about the club or coming to the club. The sense is that there's all these like super hot couples, fit couples, and their makeup's all done up and they all look super attractive, like what you see on TV. And the reality is that almost everybody that attends a club, or at least our clubs, they're regular people. So I thought it would be interesting to create a channel on Chatterbait and call it Typical Swingers and have typical swingers on it. So I don't know. We'll see. See if that's a good idea or not.
I like the idea. That's one thing I did like about Lucky's, dancing at Lucky's, is that you would expect, the jocks or the muscles, and it was everybody. I mean, I don't have a rocking bod, but, I'm a slim guy, and then we had hairy dad bods, and we had the jocks or between.
You can't see.
So it was the representation of what is really in the community, and everyone has what they like. Not everyone likes muscle. Not everyone likes the bodybuilder. Yeah, they like the dad bods or the skinny guys.
Well, I'm hoping for that a lot, like the older, overweight, hairy white guy look. Hoping that there's a good niche for that. So.
I'm sure you'll do fine with your little silver fox going on.
The silver fox, that's what I was thinking. The silver fox.
Yep.
I need a haircut.
Get you a butt plug with one of the little foxtails.
Wait, a butt plug with what? Wait. A butt plug with what?
The little fuzzy tails.
Oh, geez.
Just don't get the tail that looks like a skunk. Yeah.
Well, I look like my head. I look like Pepe Le Pew.
We're going to start making a wish list for you and putting it on Amazon. So, butt plug with the tail, and
Listen, let's start with the little. I saw how small the little vibrating thing was. I think I can handle that. Now you're talking about butt plugs and wiring me up to light sockets, and yeah, I don't know how I feel about all that.
Oh, you love it.
We haven't tried it yet. What do you mean? I love it.
The mere thought of it.
Let's take it one step at a time, there, Sparky. Pun intended. We'll wire up your nipples and clitoris, so we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work.
How do you know?
It doesn't.
We're gonna try. We're gonna try. So you done? Okay, so let's see. Houseboy. Oh, Laura says she found househusbands.com. Are you familiar with that one?
I'm not familiar with that one. I mean, do you really want that type of commitment, though?
I don't. No. Yeah, so that's interesting. So what sort of commitment is there on your end with your current situation? Is that a semi-permanent? Is there a contract like for a certain period of time?
So it really goes back to case-by-case situation, and that's like even in the swinger communities, some people want to do full swap, soft swap, or individually swap separate rooms. So it's really just based off of the employer and the houseboy themselves.
Okay.
I've heard of going from a houseboy to like a sugar baby to a husband. So it's really just case by case.
Would you say that's a goal for you?
No.
Wait, hold on. You don't want to think about that? You answered that really quick.
No. The last situation I was in with a houseboy was enough to turn me off to the situation. So, yeah.
Okay.
Too much drama. I became
So is this something you can call off at any time? Like, okay, hey, I'm done, peace. Like, you can just quit.
Pretty much, and unless there's like a legal contract. Some people actually do like a legal binding contract, so that way people have to uphold. Because some people do uproot their entire lives to move to a situation with no guarantee. So
okay, that makes sense. Marilu, do you think you'd want a contract, or would you kind of leave it all loosey goosey?
I think I'd want a contract.
Only
to cover both parties, because you never know what could happen in between. You could have a year contract and somewhere in the middle of all that everything changes for everybody.
a year-long lease with a leash.
Yeah. It's a lease.
Yes.
See if you can say that 3 times real fast. Lease. I can't say it once.
Yeah, no,
I like that. Leasing a leash. I like that. So what do you see in the future for you? I mean, is this do you think that do you like the current setup scenario? Would you do this again as far as the house husband or houseboy thing?
No. So the last situation that brought me actually to Pittsburgh was I was basically part of a throuple, a triad, and the relationship wasn't the best between the two. So adding the third didn't help. A lot of people think that bringing in a third person is going to improve the situation, just like some couples have a kid to, solidify their marriage, and it just
that's nuts.
Yeah, so it was a bad situation. Got out of that, left a very bad taste in my mouth.
So I want to make sure I understand. Are you in that sort of situation now then?
No.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. I was thinking that's what you were doing now. Okay, so you're just in a regular relationship now.
Correct.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. So you dance every once in a while, now with COVID there, not so much. So what do you do now? What's your primary source of revenue?
So my primary source is I am a member of management for a credit card company.
Oh,
So a lot of responsibilities with that throughout the week.
I bet.
Fun times, especially with COVID coming. We had a lot of revamping and stuff. So
Is it? Are you working from home then, or are you still going to the office?
nope, still working from home at this point.
Okay, well that's good. It's been nice that there's so many companies that have gone remote. Obviously for for obvious reasons. I'm wondering how many will stay that way moving forward.
So my brother actually works in the IT area, and he watches a lot of stuff with what's going on in the world with that aspect. And he's shared a lot of people are going home full time, if not 70% of the time and 30% in the office, which it really makes sense with any type of communication where your call centers is you're saving money on a space that basically you can do at home. So
Yeah.
it's just working out the kinks in it.
Yeah, I was talking to somebody and I was suggesting that it would be easier. You mentioned IT, easier from that perspective to manage it, but they said the opposite was true. Is that because because of security and stuff like that, and VPNs and all that, it's much more complicated because everyone is remote. But I think once you work out those nuances and those kinks, no pun intended. Probably, long run would save a lot of money for a lot of these companies. We're probably seeing the dawn of a new era in remote working.
Yeah. I believe so. Even 5 years ago, when I worked for one of the major banks with their credit cards for their customer service, even at that time, they were letting select people working from home at that time. But the biggest thing is, like you said, the security, where you have people that you're hiring in new, don't know really anything about their work ethic, what type of person you're hiring, and then they're at home to where they're dealing with people's checking and financial information. So
that's very true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah. I guess if you're dealing with that sort of thing, that's that's a big deal. So, but none of that conversation is very sexy.
Unless there's actual transactions, but again, going back to the nickel.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, with Chatterbait, yeah, nickel. Give me a nickel, and I'll show you my pickle. That's pretty much the sum of it. So I was while you were out, I was commenting that you have not actually been to the clubs yet, correct?
Correct. Have not been to the club yet.
What is the likelihood that you'll be visiting once things kind of calm down?
I would say it's a definite possibility.
It's a definite maybe. Oh my gosh. Marilu's got to step out for a second. I saw, because you had just registered just a few weeks ago on the site for the first time, so that was nice to see. We definitely like to, once we get things sort of settled down and open back up, it'd be great to have you come visit. I think you'd really enjoy it, especially if you like that club type atmosphere.
Yeah, definitely want to check it out. I think you all have like Freaky Fridays where you get more into the events, and because that's something that I definitely want to check out, like the rigging and stuff with the Shibari.
Yeah. You've mentioned BDSM a couple times. Is that something? It seems like that's something that you're very interested in.
So it's something that I've had a little experience with, and just with a few partners I've had in the past. So just looking to expand on it some more.
Are you opposed to talking about in what ways?
So
I know you're in mixed company potentially, so maybe you can't.
No, I've about 4 years ago, not too long after I came out as bi or pansexual, I had a sub female and a sub male at the same time, but never together. So
wow.
So the female was very much into spanking, impact play, bondage. So I got to experiment and, push her boundaries a little bit, but that only lasted for the summer, so I didn't really have too much more to go with at that time. So.
Now, what about you said you had a sub male and sub female. What about the male?
So the sub male was more about worshiping the body. So he liked to basically service men with, certain things.
Got it. Okay. So it sounds like you're more of the dominant type in that regard.
I've been told that.
Do you not feel that way about yourself?
I think I'm more of a switch, depending on my partner. Someone's saying no, but I've been told I have a type A personality. I'm very direct, very forward, and pretty set with my boundaries as well. So
your overall demeanor doesn't show that. I mean, as we're talking, you actually seem almost a little quite the opposite, like almost like quiet and, dare I say, demure.
So I always tell people I'm more of an introvert when I'm out and about, like at the club. I like to sit back and watch. I gauge people's, because I am also ex-military. So,
oh, wow. Now we're peeling back more layers of the onion.
So I tend to gauge people's reactions and, see how accepting they are of their surroundings. Because that's one thing that I've heard actually about the body shop is it's a very welcoming area. And I know a lot of, not to bash on men, but that men can be very pushy, especially solo males, that they can be kind of a jerk and pushy and not be receptive to other people's interactions or what they don't or do want. So.
Right. I would say that's true in the macro. And I will say more so it's interesting. You would think in our environment that would be more the case, where the opposite is actually true. And the reason for that is that in a regular, what I'll say vanilla nightclub environment, you just have hundreds, if not thousands of people coming into the club at the same time. Nobody knows who they are. I call it security by obscurity. Nobody really knows anything about them. So they can kind of act out and misbehave or whatever. And maybe they get thrown out, maybe they don't, whatever. With our space and how the clubs operate, every single person who walks through the door is checked in. And we know exactly who they are. They're checked by ID. We go over rules with them, what the expectations are, what you can do, what you can't do. So those instances of guys misbehaving, single guys, is a lot less than what you would think it would be. In fact, I don't want to say it's not there, but it's negligible. The truth of the matter is we get more trouble out of single women and couples than we do guys. Because guys want to come back. They know if they fuck up, they're not coming back.
Right.
So we do get a few goofy guys, the guys that just don't understand, or just come in thinking it's a big free-for-all and they're going to get laid. So I'm going to bring Marilu back in here. Hello. So the opposite's kind of true with that. But yeah, what you were saying about being an open and accepting environment, that is 100%. And we sort of mold it that way, even with the member base, because people that aren't accepting or don't, are very narrow-minded, aren't going to fit in well, at least in our environment. Now, that may not be true for all clubs, but definitely true for the body shop clubs. So, But yeah, we'd love to have you come down and visit. Once things settle down and you're comfortable, you can bring your partner if you want. If your partner's open to it, if not, it's fine. You can always come by yourself. So let me rephrase: you can always attend by yourself.
I'll be sure to bring the tail.
I hope you mean for you. I'm feeling a little uncomfortable here. Let me mean,
I was are you embarrassed? Like, are you getting flushed?
I don't know. Let me go away.
I do have a nice collar and leash set to go with it too.
Perfect. Yeah, I think you and Marilu need to exchange numbers. All right. Well, we've actually been on for almost an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap it up. Appreciate you coming on. Very brave of you. Now, you're actually our first non-member fan who's gone live with us. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And thank you for being so open about yourself and your sexuality and the things that you have experienced. Because it's, there's seemingly going to be hundreds, if not thousands, of people that will watch this video for years to come. And you've just shared all of that with them. He just disappeared. So when you watch this again, thank you very much for doing that. So hey, he just went away again. I think he's having some connectivity issues again. So anyway, we thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys who chimed in. We see Dave from Canton just chimed in. He's saying true. I'm not saying what he's saying true too. I hope he's not saying true about putting the thing in my butt. You're back.
He's talking about being open-minded.
Oh, Dave was talking about true being open-minded. So I don't know if you caught all that, but thank you so much for being so, being so much an open book. And even though you seem like you're a little shy, we appreciate you opening up with us. That means a lot. So thank you. It means a lot that you trust us to do that, do that with us. So thank you.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna do a before and after. So this is your before attending the club interview. So, and after you've attended, we'll do another one.
Sounds good.
The review.
Yeah. So we'll review. Hopefully it's a good one. If it's a bad one, listen. If it's bad, I definitely want to know. So
yeah.
But
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate it. We're gonna dip out of here. Cliff, again, thank you so much, and we'll see you somewhere on the live stream.
All right. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, folks. You take care. Bye, guys. Good night.